has been a beautiful afternoon here on the Bellarine Peninsula, and there is only one way it can get better, and that is with State Championship Women's Basketball. My name is Hugh Moore, and joining me here at the Bellarine Secondary College is former State Championship Women's coach and current high performance manager, I'm going to say, for the Bellarine Storm Junior Program, Tim Sanderson. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, Hugh. Yeah, it's going to be a really good one here tonight, and a bit of a different seat on this side of the court, but it's been nice to have some family time at home and actually be able to take the games in a different way this year. So looking forward to seeing two really good teams go at it tonight.
And so far it has been almost a carbon copy season for both these teams. State Championship women, the Bellarine Storm dropping just the one game so far this year, and that was a fortnight ago to the McKinnon Cougars, while the Sherbrooke Suns are going in a similar direction. If my laptop will load.
I think it was the one loss for Sherbrooke was Pakenham the other week, but they had a really good win over McKinnon round one. So, yeah, both teams pretty good form. Won games, lost games against similar opponents, and the top end of the ladder is pretty tight. So this one should be a really good contest tonight and really could go either way.
Well, looking at the ladder now, Sherbrooke, McKinnon and Bellarine all with just the one loss this season. So a huge game in terms of ladder positions and could make a massive difference in the back end of the season. Pakenham very close behind with the two losses, and then Western Port 2 games off the top 4. So, Tim, obviously a very similar looking top 4 to the end of last season. Obviously the major change being the Bellarine Boomers, who underwent a fairly significant change in the off-season. Obviously, Coach Mason Rogers now head coach of McKinnon Cougars, and a few of his players making his way over, as well as, I believe, assistant coach Marcus.
Marcus is in Perth with Perry Lakes, but the rest of the coaching staff and about half of the Bellarine team have gone to McKinnon, yes.
So, Bellarine Storm also going through some changes as well. Obviously, Olivia Vert departs to play Division 1 for Melbourne Uni. Jamie Crombie heads down the coast to play for Surf Coast. And obviously a new head coach in Dave Smith, who's doing very good and has done very well for our women's program here on the peninsula. But as we get underway, starting lineups for this match, for the Storm, it'll be at number 3, Chantal Hall. Number 11, Olivia Osborne. Number 15, Shayla Golden. Number 35, Georgia Varley. And the captain, number 23, Courtney Strait. And while for the Suns, it will be at number 13, Tennille Knight. Number 32, Mel Pryor. Number 0, Zoe Zwirling. Number 21, Emma Pearce. And number 24, Alina Squires. As Sherbrooke's first offensive possession won't work for them, and the Bellarine Storm will head straight to the free throw line as we have our first sub straight away. Zoe Zwirling out, and Brianna McKenzie checking in.
There's obviously something there on a scout or a first play Coach Shanahan wasn't overly happy with, and quick message with a quick sub.
Coach Shanahan's first season with the Suns this year. So Golden, 1 from 2 from the free throw line. Nice pass from Squires. No luck on the finish there from McKenzie, and Storm come away with the rebound. Golden now to Strait. To Varley in the corner. Has some separation, pulls the trigger. Rolls in and out. Pearce with the rebound. Awkward handoff with Squires. Pearce. Takes Golden to the ring. Kick out to the corner to Squires. Floater is up. Won't go. Hall with the big rebound. Had to get through 2 defenders, and the Storm get out comfortably. Varley straight in the corner. Pulls the trigger.
A defensive mistake on that one from Squires. Got caught on the ball.
Strait gets into her bag early. Opening field goal for the game and for the Storm. Turning shot from Mackenzie won't go, and a nice finish there from Pearce off the offensive rebound.
There'll be one Bellarine's got to watch tonight. Pearce is a very, very good hustler on the boards. Does a lot of the hard stuff inside, so they're going to need to make sure they get a body on her through the night.
And a lovely back cut there from Bellarine Storm import, Shayla Golden. Javali with great court vision. Squires now to Knight, to Mackenzie. Into Pryor, who has a free runway to the ring. Couldn't get it to drop, but will draw the contact. Foul will be on at number 15, Shayla Golden. We'll see Zoe Zwirling check back in and Brianna Mackenzie check back out. Straight swap.
I think one of the really interesting things as we go into tonight's game is probably having a look at how the two teams handle the guard matchups. So Sherbrooke tend to have a lot of penetration coming out of Squires and Zwirling that sets up most of their offense. And you'd say Bellarine's similar in a way with Georgia Varley, with Courtney Strait, and then Courtney Hodler when she comes in the game as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how both teams approach defending that, to see whether they can take teams out of their sets.
And I think both teams are quite evenly matched up across the board.
Absolutely.
In terms of player matchups. You've obviously got Chantal Hall and Mel Pryor. You've got Tennille Knight and Courtney Strait. Tennille Knight's got a bit of a height advantage, but they play roughly the same. There's a little bit of heavy pressure here by the Suns. No stress for Courtney Strait as she gets to the rib. It's like Coach Tim Sanderson coached this team last year. He knows these players like the back of his hand as Strait will head to the line for two. Tennille Knight will pick up her first foul.
Yeah, a fairly good idea on Sherbrooke too, having played them quite a few times over the last couple of years as well. So there's a couple of new pieces for them this season, but a lot of it is returning from last year as well.
Obviously, Tennille Knight's first season with the Suns. Former Geelong United NBL 1 player and development player for WNBL in the Geelong Venoms inaugural season. Knight now. Pushed hard over the top of that screen. Pryor to Pearce. Her shot won't go. Varley with the rebound. 2 rebounds, 2 assists early for her. A bit of full court pressure there by Squires. Just got it over in time, and Varley got through the pressure quite well. Hall couldn't finish. Pryor comes up with the rebound. Whirling, kick ahead pass, found Knight. And she'll kick it back out. Varley got fingertips. Squires now lost control.
Good job on the trap.
This might potentially be the matchup to watch. Varley versus Squire. Zwirling steps back. Miss everything. Didn't hit the ring, so the shot clock won't reset. And they'll run out of time. Coach Shanahan's pleading it hit the ring. It didn't. Missed the ring by about a metre.
You can see in that early action there with the high on-ball screens, Bellarine's defence is very aggressive to try and stop the guards with Whirling and Squires turning the corner and getting into the lane. So that's clearly a strategy coming in to try and prevent some of that penetration, see if they can blow up some of the actions.
Varley downhill, got the pass off to Osborne in the corner. 4-3, gets that one to go.
Coming off 3 makes outside last week too, so good form on the shot so far with Olivia Osborne.
Obviously a two-way player this season. Women's program is flying at the moment here on the peninsula. Both state championship women and youth league women sitting in the top 3 of their respective divisions.
Once again, that pressure up the top on the ball screen.
Another late shot there, and Zwirling just drops a teardrop.
Tough shot, but I'm sure Bellarine's not overly stressed with that one. If you can get them that late in clock and you're having to shoot those, you're not too disappointed defensively with that possession. Just a really good shot to finish it off.
4.5 minutes through. Storm lead 11-7, and Varley just couldn't get enough purchase on it. And Zwirling wants to move fast. Pryor was ahead. Nice defense there from Osborne, and Pearce come up with it. Osborne on the ground, and Knight's shot won't go, and it'll go in favour of the Storm. So we'll see Brianna Mackenzie check back into the game, and Tennille Knight checking out. While for the Storm, it'll be Chantal Hall checking out, and Charlotte Armstrong checking in for her first minutes. Osborne now. Finds Golden. Good defense there by Pierce. They get it all the way back to Varley, who pulls it from the car park. No luck. Nice tip there from Squires. Ends up in the hands of Golden. And Straight will reset. The signature Red Kobe's for Courtney Straight again tonight. Mid-range jump shot is good. As she starts to find her groove halfway through the first quarter, up to 7 points so far in this one. Squires now to Zwirling. Pryor. Hands off to Mackenzie, dribbles it off her foot, and it'll go all the way out of court and in favour of the Storm. And we'll have our first time out of this one, and it'll go to Coach Matt Shanahan and the Sherbrooke Suns. But so far, pretty even contest. Bellarine lead in the scoring department though, 13-7 with 4 minutes 15 left in this one. But so far, Tim, looking at the stats, everything is basically even other than the scoring side. Bellarine shooting at 50% across everything, while the Suns just the 22%, 2 from 9 so far. I think a lot of that shot quality, like defensive actions, obviously Bellarine being aggressive on the ball screens, forced the ball backwards a lot, and a lot more, probably tougher shots for Sherbrooke so far. So I think this time out, Coach Shanahan will be working on some adjustments here. How can we break that pressure down and try and create some better looks to lift that percentage up a little bit? And yeah, well, you bet me to it. That's exactly what I was going to say. It just feels like the defensive pressure of the Bellarine Storm is just that little bit more. Obviously, Sherbrooke not playing very relaxed defense. They're up in everyone's grill, but it just feels like we saw 2 very late shot clock shots. One ended up in a shot clock violation, one with a nice heave from Zoe Zwirling that went in, but it just feels Bellarine are getting the shots they want, even with Sherbrooke's defense, while the Storm are forcing Sherbrooke to take shots. It's
probably 2 different approaches. The Bellarine one's very much a team approach to blowing up actions, whereas so far Sherbrooke's relied on just being able to pressure 1v1 matchups. So kind of like that situation there, they're relying on Mackenzie to be able to handle Courtney Hollywood there and then worrying about the other stuff individually. And so far, Ballarine's just won a few more of those one-on-one battles.
Well, foul there was on at Brianna Mackenzie, and as Tim mentioned, Courtney Hollywood checking in for Olivia Osborne during the timeout. Hollywood.
The difference where the ball gets there as well, so that shot's made at the free throw line versus a lot of other actions that haven't broken a 3 consistently.
So kick ahead from Zwirling, finds Pierce. Back to Zwirling, to Squires now. Gets a step on her defender. Nice up and under.
So there's your adjustment. The screening angle is different. Little back screen to start with to try and free Squires up, and then she goes and rejects the screen, plays to a different space.
And again, a nice connection there between Golden and Varley. This time they couldn't capitalise. The Suns, another transition basket will go. That's 5 straight points out of the timeout for Coach Shanahan and the Suns, and just like that, it's a 1-point game.
That's where Sherbrooke is very dangerous. Transition is a strength of theirs. If you let them get out like that, they've got players that can make shots.
There's an offensive foul on the play. It'll be an illegal screen called on Charlotte Armstrong. So we'll have a substitution for the Suns. It'll be number 14, Eliana Bravington, checking in for Mel Pryor. Squires hands off to Pierce, to Zwirling, back to Squires. Bravington, and Squires just couldn't get a hold of it, and it'll go out of bounds.
Again, slight adjustment there with a handoff start to get the offensive player on the move as opposed to a stationary catch ball screen that was happening in the first few minutes.
So 3 minutes left in this first quarter. Varley. Hands off to Straight. Armstrong's screen was much better this time, and a nice little dish off to Charlotte Armstrong as she gets her first points of the contest. Takes it back out to a 3-point margin. Squires pushed high, goes into Bravington with a nice little finish.
Early slip that time. So there's another little adjustment out of that timeout as well.
As it'll be out of bounds off Emma Pearce, as we'll have substitutions for the Storm. We'll see Courtney Strait and Georgia Varley check out, and Olivia Osborne check back in, as well as Taylor Chant in for her first minutes of this one. Chant now. Nice little pass to Golden. And Golden's pass back was tipped. And so Mackenzie now surveying her options. Doesn't have much. Has to go to Squires. It's Hollywood, pardon me. Lost her footing, and Pearce inside was held. And so it'll stay on the floor. Sherbrooke ball.
So clearly that change is to separate out of the screen quickly and not allow that trap to stay for very long. It'll be interesting to see now what Ballarine's counter to that is. Are they still going to stay with the trap and allow that slip to go early? Or are they going to try and change that matchup and stay attached to the forward?
Hollywood to Chant to Golden. And Osborne back to Golden. Floater up off the glass is good for Shayla Golden. Little pressure relief there for the Storm as we enter the final 90 seconds of the first quarter. Skip pass to Squires. Back into Squires from Pearce, and Golden had the ball and stepped out of court, as we'll see a sub for the Suns. It'll be Louise Karajic-Pow checking in for Emma Pearce.
That was well read by Shayla. It was probably a layup without that help.
They go inside to Bravington. Knight attacking the rim hard, gets that one to go. So back and forth baskets ever since the Sherbrooke timeout. Chant splits the gap on the defense. Tough shot, couldn't get it. Armstrong was there for the offensive rebound. Chant for the offensive rebound, and they'll have another chance. Hollywood now lost control of the ball. Foul on the play will be on number 20 for the Suns, Louise Karajic-Pow. We're going to have a timeout with 58 seconds left in the first quarter, going to the Storm. And if timeouts are anything to go by this quarter, expect the Bellarine Storm run out of this timeout in this final minute. But it is a one-point game still in favour of the Storm, and it'll be interesting to see what adjustment Coach Dave Smith comes out of this timeout with.
It's probably one of two things. It's either could be a quick hit of play here being the last minute of the quarter, or I'm sure they'll also be speaking about that adjustment Sherbrooke's just made where they're slipping and separating out of screens quicker. Just how they want to cover that and make sure they're not getting caught on those back cuts like they were in the last couple of plays. I think the other really interesting thing here too since that first time out is referees have made an adjustment too. There's a little bit of stuff going on with some guiding with hands early on. They've started picking that up in the last couple of minutes too. So now the teams have got to adjust to that as well. I think it'll make it a cleaner game, but it'll be interesting to see how the players adjust now.
I think another thing to look at, ever since that Matt Shanahan timeout, Sherbrooke's field goal percentage has almost doubled.
Yep, much better looks.
Back up to 40%. Every other stat line, it is dead equal, other than assists, where Bellarine are in the +1. So overall, a fairly even game between two of the top contenders in state championship women this year. As Chant, nice little backdoor cut. Assist going to Charlotte Armstrong.
There's your out of bounds play we were just talking about. Nice little draw up.
So what can the Suns answer back with? Bravington potentially walked too far without dribbling, but
a good touch.
Got the basket to go, and Chant, nice kick air pass to Armstrong. Sets her feet, gets around her defender. No luck, Golden offensive rebound. She's got to beat 3 defenders. Chant tosses it up, no luck. Fights hard for it. Another offensive rebound to the Storm.
Still a bit of a separation between shot clock, game clock here. So there's
5 seconds separated. 13 seconds. Hollywood has to get the shot up. Got the defense moving. Armstrong, late 3. Won't count.
Yep, a little bit late using the ball screen, I think. Took too long.
So 4.2 seconds left in this first quarter. What can the Suns do? Squires already hit 1-3 in this quarter. Gets it off in time. Will it go? It won't. It'll be short. And at the end of the first break, it'll be the Bellarine Storm with a 1-point lead. over the Sherbrooke Suns, 19 to 18, and pretty even spread so far for this one. Courtney Strait leads the way with 7 points. Well, excuse me, Shayla Golden with 5. Well, for the Suns, it'll be Tennille Knight with the 4 points, and then an even spread across after that. But so far, Tim, both coaches doing very well in this one, you would almost say. We always harp on how good the players are, but a lot of the time it's also a battle between the coaches. Yeah,
a couple of good adjustments from both teams there. So obviously Sherbrooke made the first change by getting out of those screening actions a little bit quicker after Bellarine was trapping aggressively in the first quarter. And you saw after that last time out, the Bellarine adjustment there was they still want the pressure on the ball, so they committed 2, but the help came earlier onto the forward off the weak side to try and prevent that pass coming out quickly and doing easy layup damage, if that makes sense. So I think you're going to see there a lot more, almost a bit more rotation off the ball from Bellarine just to try and prevent the ball hitting certain spots as opposed to worrying about who the matchup is as such. But yeah, Sherbrooke responded very well after an early challenge from Bellarine. Squires made a couple of nice shots, got downhill on her left hand, got that 3 in transition. And yeah, it's exactly what we thought it was going to be, a really good contest in the first quarter.
Well, looking around the league, 2 other games currently underway at this current moment. Warrandyte and Warrnambool down in the Bull. And it is Warrandyte at the first break with the 5-point lead over the Mermaids. While in our other game, it is the McKinnon Cougars taking on Sunbury, and McKinnon are making a statement early in that one, up 24-8 early in that one, and it's about to go to quarter time. So
they've got a new import in there today too, McKinnon. So Nicholson's playing her first game. Product of the University of Georgia in the SEC, so it will be a very big ad for McKinnon coming into this league. I believe she's been playing some Euro Cup as well, so top quality player and great signing for them.
5 points for her so far, 2 assists to go along with it, as the teams make their way back out onto the floor. Second quarter action underway. Varley to Golden. Waiting for an option to come. Hall, who checked back in during the break, as well as Strait and Varley. And Hall's shot will fall short, and Mackenzie got her defender in the air, couldn't get the friendly wall, and Karajic Pow won't get it to go off the offensive rebound.
Those 2 things there, though, are Sherbrooke's strengths, like getting out and playing in transition, then committing numbers on the offensive glass. So Ballarine's got to make sure they stay on top of that, otherwise that will be a problem as the game goes on.
Varley with the mid-range jump shot, gets it to go. Her first points of the contest, that doesn't sound right.
Nice cut.
And Bravington couldn't get it to go. Pretty sure Georgia Varley's hit a 3, hasn't she? Maybe not. No, Courtney Strait did. And just like that, she'll get 3 chances at the free throw line.
They just took the landing space. I'd say Bellarine could also consider themselves a little bit lucky having a lead here too. Sherbrooke's left a couple of points on the rim with some of those layup attempts that realistically they would hope they would make.
So
it's called this one after the landing, I think.
Mass substitution for the Suns. We'll see Karajic, Power, Bravington and Pearce check out, and Zwirling, Pryor and Knight check back in as Olivia Osborne adds 2 more points to her total in this one so far, up to 5.
Good read by Osborne on the overplay on the wing.
And there's that pressure that we've seen so far in this one. Pryor manages to just get to it, and then her pass is way too hot along the baseline. So
that's exactly what Bellarine would be trying to do there, like getting pressure on Zwirling, get the ball out of her hands and make someone else make a play. And outcome like that's exactly what you're chasing.
So 5 points to margin early in the second quarter. Varley, guarded by Zwirling, finds Armstrong.
Yep.
And wanted to give it to Courtney Strait, but couldn't, and walked a little bit too far.
Pearce did a good job taking the passing angle off her there.
So Zwirling now. Again, pushed high. Pierce. Squires in the corner. 4-3. Rattles in, out. And Osborne will come up with the rebound. As luckily Olivia Osborne was directing someone to go because the ball hit her arm. Stayed in court. Armstrong got bumped. Couldn't get it to go. Offensive
Great
rebound.
job.
Put back for Charlotte Armstrong. As the Bellarine Storm continue to pile on the offensive rebounds. Up to 7 so far in this contest. Tip pass there by Straight.
There'd be a little worry for Sherbrooke at 7-4 early in the game, seeing that's normally an area they would be pretty handy at.
Into Hall. Wants to go to work. Bullies her way inside. Thought she was fouled. Another offensive rebound, you would say. Give it to them. They won't, and we'll have a timeout. No, they will. And they'll have a timeout. Will the Suns, as the Bellarine Storm break away again, out to 7 points. 2.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. And again, it's like we just mentioned, it's the Bellarine Storm and the offensive rebounds. They've now doubled what the Sherbrooke Suns have. +4 in that compartment. They're also +6 in total rebounds. So just starting to get into their groove are the Storm. Their field goal percentage has stayed around that 40%, while the Sherbrooke Suns field goal percentage is almost like a roller coaster at the moment, back down to 33%.
Yep. And look, one of the probably two things Coach Shanahan will be looking at here that might be slightly concerning. They're not really big issues yet, but they could become them. Their shooting percentage obviously slightly behind Ballarine's, but then Ballarine's also getting more second shots with a better shooting clip as well. So if you're generally shooting the ball at a higher percentage and getting more looks than your opponent, that can be very, very difficult to win games from there.
And I think another thing to point out is Bellarine, with not many threes so far in this one, they average... oh no, that's about right.
Yeah, 2 for 5 so far versus 2 for 6. So it's no real significant difference there.
There's another offensive rebound for the Storm, and Armstrong thought she was fouled, couldn't get it.
Pierce did well to save that one with a good block.
It's the Bellarine Storm average 25 threes a game. They've only got 5 so far in this one. So skip pass from Straight to Osborne. Now they kick it to Varley. Single figures on the shot clock. Varley has to do some work. Gets through, draws the contact, and will head to the line for 2 as our state championship men's matchup walks into the building. The Gippsland United coming up at 7:30.
So one note you're noticing now with how Ballarine's playing off the ball screen is there's being a bit more aggressive defense there also from Sherbrooke, but it's ended up in a couple of switches. So there they've got quick guards like Varley going downhill versus forwards, and there's been a lot of fouls out of this. So again, that'll be an area that Coach Shanahan will need to watch because he's got forwards getting targeted a little bit on that.
So substitution for the Storm. We'll see Osborne and Hall check out, and Golden and Chant check back in for the Storm. Knight, Pryor, Zwirling. Up to Squires, steps back, thought about the 3, decides to attack the ring, fading, no luck. Offensive rebound this time for the Suns, and Squires now wants to go to work with Straight. Good defense there by Courtney Straight. They'll stay with the Suns. 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
That was a nice action for Sherbrooke with some away from the play stuff there too, just to give Bellarine a different look. I think that's something that's worth persisting with to see if they can get some different looks out of that.
Inside to Pierce.
Good baseline play.
She adds 2 more points to her total. 4 points, 4 rebounds for her so far in this one. Varley to Straight. Again, there's that mismatch that they've exposed the Storm. Courtney Straight guard up against Mel Pryor. More of a forward.
Pryor's
Kick
done
out.
well.
Chant, 4-3. Offensive rebound fell in the lap of Shayla Golden. This time she had to work for another offensive rebound. And Tennille Knight just stood there, come away with the block, and then drew the foul.
She made up with that with the second effort there. Tennille, she probably missed the block out on the first play and then had to follow it up. but did well to avoid a score on it.
Shayla Golden picks up her second foul. Pryor now, swirling. Created some separation. Got the shooter's bounce and got the basket to drop.
And that's the zone she likes to shoot from. That pull-up mid-range or the quick three in transition are the two preferred shots there for Zwirling. So that's exactly what she's trying to find.
So Chant now to Golden. Had it picked, ended up in the hands of Chant. Now she wants to go to work against Pryor. Tough shot, no luck, and offensive rebound. Won't go, lost control of it. And Pierce potentially went for a bit of a walk. Swirling now. Nice mid-range shot, and I think Squires thought she might have been shooting it. And so the pass will go out of bounds.
Yeah, different book, those two there. Probably would have been a better option to be a shot there, I think.
Substitution for the Storm. Varley and Straight checking out, and Olivia Osborne and Courtney Hollywood checking in.
Extended pressure now too from Sherbrooke.
Hollywood now to Osborne. Golden thought about the three, decides to move it on to Chant. Screen from Armstrong, mid-range jump shot from Chant is good. Taylor Chant.
Good shot, but you're probably not overly disappointed with that from the Sherbrooke perspective. That long two's a look that they'd be okay with, I would have thought.
So Chant up to 4 points, Zwirling. Nice pass inside, great ball movement there by the Suns. Pryor couldn't get it to go as it's touched out to Zwirling, fading, turning. No luck, Pryor offensive rebound, and it'll be tipped out of court. Substitution for the Suns as we'll see Tennille Knight check out and Brianna McKenzie check back in, while Shayla Golden will check out and Chantal Hall will check in. So the Storm going with a little bit of a bigger lineup in this one as Alina Squires rattles that three home.
I think they've got the baseline worked out against Bellarine zone there. That's a very good option. First time they got the layup down the middle. Second time sucked the defense in, opened the shooter up.
So back to a 4-point margin. 4 minutes left in this one. In this first half as Chant, nice little pass over the top was tipped. Armstrong managed to get it. Osborne, three is up and is down from Olivia Osborne.
Big hit.
As she continues in her purple patch over the past few weeks.
Great shot from Osborne, but Sherbrooke doing okay on the defensive end with deflection there.
Long close out there to McKenzie. Her three missed, but it fell in the lap of Mel Pryor, who gets an easy basket.
Pryor's starting to find some nice looks around the basket in the last couple of minutes. Hasn't always put them away, but she's starting to find the ball in dangerous areas.
Osborne had it picked, and it'll stay with the Storm. Substitution for the Storm. We'll see Golden back in quickly, as well as Courtney Straight, and we'll see Taylor Chant and that Charlotte Armstrong check out. So 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Straight into Hall. Back to Osborne. Thought about the three. McKenzie did a good job to stop it. Hollywood had to toss it up, was late in the shot clock, and Pierce out to the races well ahead of everyone else. Gets the basket, cuts it back to a 3-point game.
Good disruption again from Sherbrooke.
Straight. Got a defender leading. Kicks it back out to Hollywood now. Osborne. It'll be kick ball. Emma Pierce showing a multi-sport athlete as we see Olivia Wind check in for her first minutes of this one for Zoe Zwirling, while Georgia Varley checks in for Courtney Hollywood. Straight to Hall, to Golden. Varley, 8 in the shot clock, has to get to work. Golden got the step on the defender, attacks the ring, kick out to Osborne. She's hit 2 already. Olivia Osborne, not enough legs on that one.
Another good look though.
This McKenzie, like a bull in a china shop, going coast to coast. Couldn't get that one to drop. It'll stay with the Suns though, and Coach Dave Smith wants to talk things over as we'll head to a Bellarine Storm timeout. 2.5 minutes left in the first half, and the Storm still with the lead by 3. And just like that, we're back to an even game.
Yeah, it's two good teams. Like Sherbrooke's last 3 or 4 minutes there defensively, they've been able to get some hands-on plays, deflect passes and break up some actions there a little bit. The key part when you're watching Bellarine attacking there, from prior to the last 2 or 3 minutes, a lot of the drives have been more straight line and been more aggressive at hips, whereas now they're relying a bit more on handle because Sherbrooke's changed up some of those angles on them. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here to try and create a bit more straight line attack as opposed to relying on crossovers and extra handle to make something happen.
I think another thing to point out that is becoming a very big thing in basketball is Sherbrooke have a double-header this weekend. So obviously a huge matchup here in terms of playing a top 4 team. But what's the mentality going into that? Obviously they play here tonight, but then they're in Broadmeadows tomorrow. So a double away double-header. We'll just quickly touch on what's the mentality going into that, because obviously only they've got 5 on the bench, but you're going to be very tired after a game like tonight's game.
Yeah, you can take it one or two ways. Like you can try and balance it out a little bit, but if I'm Sherbrooke tonight, I'm probably going full at this one to find out where I sit in the league, so I know things I need to work at if there's anything that's not quite at the level you need yet. And then you just back yourself in on the second day to just tough one out. But for any team, 2 games in one weekend, particularly when you're playing a fresh opponent, there's a fresh opponent on a Sunday too, I believe, is always tricky. It doesn't really matter who the second game is either. Like, ladder position becomes a little bit irrelevant in those ones sometimes too.
You are correct. Hume City with just the single Sunday game as Chantal Hall's mid-range shot will drop, and Mel Pryor with almost an identical shot gets it to drop down the other end. So both teams trading baskets late in this first half.
A quick answer, and you're right, almost the same spot. For both of them, that's an area they like to shoot from too. So
Golden.
Missed the mismatch in the post there.
Straight. Her defender had her hand down and she made her pay. As Courtney Straight, another 3 for her total, takes her into double digits, up to 10.
Still aggressive on the ball screen.
Squires, skip pass to Pearce, out to Mackenzie.
Good job one-on-one by Varley.
As they go inside to Pearce, back out to Wind. Her 3 will miss everything and it'll stay with the Suns. Crowd a bit unhappy with that one. 3 seconds remain on the shot clock.
Sherbrooke's done a very good job the last 3 or 4 minutes evening up this offensive rebound count. Both Pryor and Pearce are getting very aggressive on that, creating these second looks for them. And it's actually contributing to the scoreboard pressure now too.
Oh, just as you were talking about it, Tim, Pearce come away with an offensive rebound and 2 points, and just like that.
There's that hand check I was talking about earlier.
In the final minute of this one, it'll be a 2-point game. He's out by as much as 10 points the margin. So Hawks just kicked a goal. Go Hawthorn. Straight now.
It's brave saying that in these parts of the woods.
That's all right. Great defense there by Squires, making it hard for Straight. Ends up dancing with Pryor. Gets the basket, lost control of it. Hit the deck. Refs will come together to talk about it. Coach Shanahan's making his way down the court, and he's coming back. It'll be a jump ball, and it'll be Sherbrooke's ball anyways. So,
regardless of call there, that's the handling thing as I was talking about before, where it's relying on a lot of double handle to create things. As a defense, if you're seeing that, that's not a huge concern for you as long as you can stay in front.
Pearce out to Wind. Wind, pardon me, into Pryor, just backs her way all the way down, kicks it out to Mackenzie. 4-3, gets that one to drop.
That's a lead.
Does Brianna Mackenzie, and her first basket comes on the eve of half-time and gives the Suns their first lead of this one. As we enter the final 10 seconds of the first half, Varley, nice pass to Hall, got fouled on her way to the ring. And she will head to the line for 5 seconds left in the first half. Foul will be on number 10 for the Suns.
A really interesting game situation coming up here too. 5.6 seconds to go off the free throw line. Sherbrooke clearly going to want to try and push the ball quickly. Ballarine's thoughts here are they've only got one team foul for the quarter, so there's a couple to give there if they want to slow the ball down potentially. Or otherwise, you need to be thinking about what your transition strategy is going to be here because it's going to be coming fast.
I'd say there's a rough idea on who the ball's going to. She just checked in. It's Zoe Zwirling in for Mel Pryor. There's a free throw and miss, and it'll get kick ahead to Wine. Mackenzie for 2 threes in a row. Won't go. And that will be the halftime siren as it is a top 4 matchup here at the Bellarine Secondary College. It'll be all tied up at the major break, 38 apiece, and what is an all-even match so far in this one. It'll be Courtney Strait leading the way for the Storm with 10 points. And then Olivia Osborne, 8 points, 3 rebounds. Well, for the Suns, it will be Alina Squires, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Emma Pearce with 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist. As we head to a halftime break, we'll be back in around 7 minutes for second half action. Do not go anywhere. it has been all a top 4 matchup should be so far in this one. It is all tied up at the major break, and there's Hugh Moore here with Tim Sanderson as I'm being stared at by referee Jeremy here. He's currently looking at the footy stores. Go away and ref the game. We do appreciate our refs around here. But Hugh Moore here with Tim Sanderson. And so far, Tim, like I said, it has been a pretty good matchup in this one. And a game of ebbs and flows, you would almost say. Not for the Storm. They've almost stayed at that one level. But for the Suns, where they almost looked down and out for a couple of minutes and found their way back into it and have it all tied up.
Yeah, like the interesting thing from a Sherbrooke perspective, I guess, is the times when Ballarine's been getting runs, there's been some little errors and some things you've been getting broken down on, but then when they've made runs themselves, they've been very good with some of their execution and being disruptive, getting hands-on passes, breaking up actions a little bit. If I was them, I'd be really encouraging in this second half to try and keep taking Bellarine out of sets and make them double handle or overhandle the ball. Because when they've been able to do that, the movement's stopped. It's been a little bit easier for them to kind of get a grip on their defensive side of things a little bit. And then that's led to some transition the other way. And if I'm Bellarine, I'm talking the exact opposite. I'm wanting lots of ball movement here. I want the ball zipping around. I want the defenders getting isolated where they can't be helping each other. And then we're going to talk about making sure we've got pressure on the ball after a shot and we're not allowing them to get out in transition. Then it might come down to who can do the work on the inside there, where both teams have had some moments.
Well, certainly a huge second half coming up. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Looking around the grounds, half-time down in the Bull is Warrandyte currently beating Warrnambool by 18 points. While in our other matchup, McKinnon currently comfortably leading at half-time by 30 points over Sunbury. Even spread for them so far in that one. No one really breaking out. 3 players on 9. As the teams slowly make their way back out onto the court for this one. Starting lineup for the second half, it'll be Varley, Golden, Osborne, Hall and Straight for the Storm, while for the Suns it'll be Squires, Pryor, Knight, Zwirling and Pearce, as the Storm will take the first possession of this half. Straight wants to get back into work straight away. Nice pass inside to Hall. Had to deal with some contact and just shrugged it off and got another 2 points to her total, up to 5.
Good play coming out of half-time, using that Iverson action to try and isolate that 2-on-2 game.
As there's a kid on the court. Rare sight here as no one's actually stepped up to own this kid. Oh, no, I believe it is a... As we're still waiting, there's no parent currently... There's 2 kids on the court now. They keep multiple. Oh, I believe they might be actually Taylor Chan's kids as she's ran across from the bench. So it's recently Mother's Day, so shout out to all the mothers as Taylor Chan makes her way back over. As I don't know what Coach Shanahan's doing it. I believe he's just asking what's going on. So action back underway. Zwirling now into Priors. Massive mismatch from Mel Priors. Doesn't decide to use it. Instead, looks for the 3 from Pearce with no luck. And so coming the other way will be Varley.
Same action.
To Straight. Had some separation. Uses it. Had Alina Squires on her hip. Got the friendly roll. Touched every part of the ring and finally went through the net.
That's giving Courtney some separation there, so that might need to be an adjustment for Sherbrooke as well.
So there's that double team again, and it exposed the Bellarine Storm offense for a second, and the Suns couldn't capitalise on it. So another chance here for the Storm to continue their lead.
Good job on the closeout, making that pass go a little bit higher.
Varley blows past Knight, straight in the corner, pulls the trigger for 3, up. Won't go down, and Osborne continues to dominate this one. Chantal Hall, another signature mid-range jump shot for her, goes.
Offensive rebounding again. both teams getting some impact from that.
So a 6-0 run to start the third quarter for the Storm. 90 seconds gone in this one. Squires through heavy contact, got the basket to drop, and we'll head to the line for one more.
So that's a nice action again there for Sherbrooke. So where they've been having trouble with the pressure has been when it's been a pass, catch, stationary movement. Getting it Squires on the move there, coming off that handoff, then into the on-ball, much more effective, much more difficult to defend.
And we spoke about that obviously earlier in this one, the guard matchups between these two teams.
Got a little bit of three-quarter court trap now.
The Storm just pass their way through it with no real troubles. Varley now. Use the screen, a whole
Great
nice
pass.
Bullet pass in there by Georgia Varley, and Knight comes up with the defensive rebound, pardon me. Zwirling in transition, pulls the trigger.
Got away with a mistake there, Bellarine. Zwirling would normally make that.
Off the back iron, and Varley now to Golden, to Osborne. Straight with a hand in her face, got that one to drop. And right now, it looks like Courtney Straight prefers to shoot with defenses. Squires slices through the defense. Bellarine Storm weren't fully set, and she manages to capitalise. 2 more points to her total. Takes her up to 15.
The difference in that play was Courtney makes a great shot, but then the transition defense forgot to pick the ball up. And Squires took full advantage of that and then just got sucked into a foul by reaching in.
I think they did pick him up. They were just very slow to actually realise.
They hit the halfway line. They switched off her. Instead of staying with that matchup and trying to push the ball to a corner and then a reset, they allowed her to then get downhill through the middle. And now you're talking rotation with a big, and Squires will take advantage of that all day.
So Courtney Straight at the line for 2. Makes the first. And gets the second with the friendly Michael Jackson lean as she's up to 17. So it's a battle of the guards as former state championship women's coach Tim Sanderson mentioned earlier. Squires and Straight going at it. They're not matched up against each other, but certainly going to battle at the points. This time, Mel Pryor picks up the pass. She gets her first 2 points of the second half. Hall, Straight, starting to find her groove. Great defense there by Zwirling. Straight can't really go anywhere. Got some separation. Did Courtney Straight, and shot fell short. So another chance for the Suns to take another chunk out of this lead. Back down to 4 points.
I think if Courtney's going to play off that ball screen action like that, she's going to be a little bit more direct in it and see if she can get that draw, that hand checking call again that was going on just prior to halftime.
Pryor, long two, won't go. Straight with her first rebound of this one. Golden, bounce the ball off her foot, and Squires is in there.
Good job by Squires to break that up.
Everywhere at the moment in this match, and Coach Dave Smith has seen enough and wants to talk things over. 4 minutes into this third quarter, and then the Bellarine Storm with a 4-point lead after things were all tied up at halftime. Very high-scoring start to the second half, you'd also say. The Bellarine Storm with 11 points in 4 minutes, while the Suns with 7. It just feels a little bit more free-flowing right now compared to what it did in the first half. And both teams just seem to be playing with a bit more flow.
There's definitely some more movement there on both ends. But I think what you'll find here is that while Ballarine's run off that Iverson cut, then Sherbrooke made a couple of mistakes defending the screening action early. And then down the other end, Ballarine's gone aggressive. Sherbrooke's found a counter out, and the 2 forwards have made a couple of mistakes from Bellarine, allowing that diver to be open to the ring as well. So it's the offense has set good challenges, but I think the defense probably just hasn't come out at the same level post-halftime for either team.
Obviously, we mentioned earlier, the Bellarine Storm just a single game this weekend, while the Suns will have to back it up tomorrow with another away game over at Broadmeadows, taking on the Broncos.
Second trip across the Westgate in two days.
Do you reckon, would you stay over this side of town?
It's an interesting question.
Maybe make a day of it, make a night of it out in Geelong.
Look, you'd certainly think about it. I think every club approaches this a little bit differently. Some like to just get to sleep in their own beds. Others will prefer to be closer to take the travel element out. And then, I mean, I guess from a club perspective too, it comes down to a bit of budgets there as well. As Squires makes a lovely handling move to score there.
Beautiful play there by Alina Squires as she continues to find her rhythm. And speaking of finding their rhythm, Courtney Straight, her one rattles out. And this time she'll go a little bit closer and still can't get it to go.
So that was lucky for Sherbrooke, helping off a shooter on the strong side corner then.
Squires spinning, turning,
and
gets the basket to go. And Olivia Squires has the hot hand in this one so far, up to 19 points. And scores are all tied up halfway through this third quarter as the Storm are up by as much as 6 points. Tough shot there by Varley. Great defense with Knight. She has the ball now. Give it to the hot hand of Squires. So it makes it all the way around, and now she's got it. Gets to work. Dancer steps through a defender, tosses the shot up, and the basket won't drop. So Varley, kick out pass to Straight. Transition three is up, and is down is for Courtney Straight.
So you got an import battle going on now, and for either team, it's whoever slows one of them down first is probably going to get an advantage here.
The other thing is not matched up against each other. So Olivia Osborne has the matchup over Lena Squires, while Courtney Straight currently guarding Emma Pearce. As her pass is picked by Chantal Hall, and Golden now. Spinning, tossed it up over the head. No luck, offensive rebound. Wrapped up with multiple Suns defenders, and we'll see a substitution here. We'll see Courtney Hollywood and Shayla Golden, Georgia Varley and Shayla Golden checking out, and Court Hollywood and Charlotte Armstrong checking back in. While for the Suns, Tennille Knight will check out. Ray McKenzie will check back in. So Pearce over the top to Zwirling. Squires and Straight now matched up against each other. Straight on the floor, hustled for the ball. Hollywood, kick ahead to Straight. Transition three. She thought about it, got some separation, pulled the trigger. No defense though, so it won't go.
Sherbrooke very lucky there because they just left her alone. She's already made 3 of them this quarter.
Well, might I point out, Tim, that the 3 she's made this quarter, there has been a hand in her face, and then she just missed an open one. So potentially Courtney Straight a better shooter with a hand in her face. We'll never know, but as we head to a timeout here for the Suns.
I mean, if you coach Shanahan, like the last one's the one you're most worried about, because a player like Courtney, if she gets 7 or 8 looks like that, she's probably making 5 of them. Yeah. And if you hit 5 of those in the period of time left in this game, that's going to blow it wide open. So I'm sure he's going to be talking exactly about how to cover that right now. And probably on the other end, Coach Smith will be talking about what we're doing with Squires. Because both of them have got going this quarter. And where the game is at the moment, it's whichever one gets slowed down first. That team's likely going to get an advantage here.
Well, Courtney Straight averaging 30% from the three-point line so far this season, off 6 attempts per game.
Yep.
So very high percentage three-point shooter.
The thing with her too, though, and this year is a lot lower than what it was. So she had a slow start to the season, which has impacted that. If you take last year's numbers, she was about 47, 48. Now, that's elite three-point shooting. So if you're going to leave that open for too long, she's going to get her rhythm back. And sometimes a game like that where someone makes 2 or 3 mistakes, you see a few go in, all of a sudden your season changes really quickly on that. I wouldn't be taking that chance if I was Sherbrooke.
Courtney Straight, very high volume three-point shooter, second in the team behind Georgia Varley.
Zone possession now.
To Armstrong, to Hollywood, to Hall. Guarded by Squires now. Mismatch for Hall, and foul comes away on the players. There'll be a foul on it. It'll be on Alina Squires. Her third. So now on foul watch, the main scorer for the Suns on 3 fouls, and Coach Shanahan going to leave her in for the moment.
I think if you've got a player you trust here, he probably needs to, just purely on the fact that she's been doing all the scoring, and the risk is you pull her, the game can open up pretty fast, and then it might not matter what you do later on.
So pass into Hall, straight in the corner.
Too much space again.
Courtney Straight finding her rhythm now, up to 23 points, pardon me. As we're 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. Bellarine with a 6-point lead. Bravington guarded by Hall and Armstrong. Armstrong a little bit too ambitious on that block attempt.
Yep.
Oh, it was on Hall?
Yeah, it didn't need to put the hand in from the side on that one-on-one. It was going to be a tough shot as it was.
Because I can't see how many fouls that was on Chantal Hall. I believe that was her second by the looks of it. As Courtney Straight will take a well-deserved break. We'll see Taylor Chant check back in.
Now, this is your moment for Sherbrooke when this sub happens. The hot shooters just come out of the game for a minute. Can you take advantage of that and try and draw this gap back really quickly and force them to bring her back in rather than having her fresh in the last quarter?
Well, 3 minutes to go in this quarter. What can the Suns produce? The top four matchup between these two teams, both with just the one loss of the season. So huge ramifications in terms of ladder positions early in the season for both teams. As Hall, mid-range jump shot, a little bit long. Squires comes up with the rebound, her third rebound of the game, and wants to push the floor quickly.
Well done by Hollywood there.
Swirling. 4-3 will get that one to drop.
Though. There's the quality shooter down the other end as well.
So back to a 2-point game. Back and forth action here at Bellarine Secondary College. Chant came away with the scraps and drew the contact. And we'll head to the line for two. It's also a mental health round here at the Bellarine Storm. So we'll see Georgia Varley check in and Maisie Corcoran check in for her first minutes of the afternoon. And Courtney Hollywood and Chantal Hall checking out.
It'll be very interesting now to see what Bellarine tries to run offensively. So they've had Courtney Straight flying on the three-point shots before, and then since she subbed out, the next two possessions have been back screen plays for Hall. Now she's coming out. Who are they going to go to on this?
Potentially Charlotte Armstrong.
Well, it's interesting. Like Osborne's is the leading scorer on the floor for Bellarine with 8. They were all early in the game, mostly three-point shots off kickouts. They weren't target plays. So it'll be very interesting to see what that looks like the next couple of minutes.
Bravington, her shot was a little bit hot and she managed to tip the ball out of Armstrong's hands and got the basket to go.
Good hustle.
I think another thing to point out is Georgia Varley been quiet this afternoon.
Yep.
All it takes is for Georgia Varley is one shot and she's on and she won't miss.
And that might be what they're trying to do here, is try and get some stuff where they can get Georgia going.
Or nice potentially Charlotte Armstrong, yep, who gets her 5th and 6th point for the contest.
Good job in a one-on-one there.
As the Hawks are getting absolutely destroyed at the MCG.
I'm a Geelong fan, I love that.
I'm going to turn that off now.
That swirling spot.
Zoe Swirling continues to turn it on. Takes her up to 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 rebounds.
So Sherbrooke's starting to get some of the looks that they like for their players now. Yeah, it's a push.
So Maisie Corcoran with the push on the rebound. To another two-way player for the Bellarine Storm. Her first year in the blue and white. Different shade of blue and white to what she's used to, coming over from Geelong United. Mackenzie now drives baseline, got the step on her defender and got the basket to go. And just like that, it is all tied up again.
Exactly what I was talking about.
And if you weren't tuning in, obviously Courtney Straight absolutely controlled the quarter for 7 minutes and then needed a rest. So come out and just like that, the Sherbrooke Suns have taken over. And now back into this one and Swirling going coast to coast. Couldn't get it to go. And Bravington got the basket to drop. Squires come in hot. Couldn't get the steal. Varley come away with it. Attacking downhill. Swirling did a good job to take it away. A 1-2 between Osborne and Varley. Single digits on the shot clock. Varley to Osborne, already hit 2 tonight. Can she make it 3? She can't, as no one was there to pick off Armstrong's tap, and it'll go in favour of the Storm as 2 more two-way players check in for the final 4 seconds of this one, as Jada Button and Summerfield check in. Charlotte Armstrong and Taylor Chant check out. Zwirling, what can she produce? Long 3 is up and won't go, and that will round out the third quarter in this one, as the Suns will have the biggest lead they've had all game in 2 points at the final break of this one. It'll be Courtney Strait leading the way in the scoring department with 23 points, while for the Suns it will be Zoe Zwirling with 20 points as we head to the major break. And what do you feel is the key to this fourth quarter, Tim, and who can come away with it?
I think like one of the biggest parts is, again, between Squires and Strait, like which one does the most damage, who can get in control of the other. Sherbrooke in the end of that quarter did a very good job when they saw the lineup change, getting more aggressive on the defensive end, and then Brivington did some nice things around the basket, being aggressive on offensive rebounds and providing a good target, and took advantage of that couple of minutes. So that was a bit of a momentum swing there when those subs kind of happened. So I think if I'm coaching Bellarine right now, the first 2 to 3 minutes of this quarter are going to be probably the most important part going forwards. So Sherbrooke's got a bit of rhythm. Squires is going. As a Storm coach now, you're trying to find, how do I get a second scorer in the game? Because clearly they're going to go after Courtney Strait in the fourth quarter when she comes in to try and slow down her clip. Who else can you get going to try and take some of that load and that pressure off to change the defensive coverage?
And how much do you feel, we spoke about it earlier, but tomorrow's matchup is playing through Matt Shanahan's head right now?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, not at all. When you're in a position like this, when you're playing a top 4 side, there's potential head-to-heads at home finals with a top 6 final system. You're trying to get this one so you've got that game on your side. And you worry about tomorrow.
As we mentioned, the Bellarine Storm, just a single header, while the Suns with the second game tomorrow. But Coach Shanahan rolling out basically his starting lineup to start this fourth quarter, while so do the Storm, who roll out their full starting lineup. So it'll be Golden, Osborne, Varley, Strait and Hall for the Storm, while for the Suns it'll be Zwirling, Squires, Karajic, Powell, Knight and Bravington as action gets underway. Do not go anywhere. A huge fourth quarter coming up here at the Bellarine Secondary College. It's a battle for the top of state championship women's ladder. Kick out to Osborne. Squires did a good job on D, no options, so has to go to Golden, who pulls the trigger, falls short. Offensive rebound for Strait.
Ooh.
2 players collide there.
Hopefully everyone's okay there.
3 players down, Golden, Osborne and Squires. Squires is up. Osborne's slow to get up, and Golden still down. She's up now.
I was one of those basketball players where everybody's playing the ball at the same time. We just happened to collide. So I'm actually going to give a lot of credit to the ref for not blowing a foul on anybody there, because I don't think anyone did anything wrong. It's just one of those unfortunate incidents.
A heavy rebound contest that you can't really give a foul to anyone for.
No, both had great intent for the ball. They met at about the same time. Like, stopping it to look after their safety is probably the best thing you could have done there.
Well, everyone seems to be up and okay. Golden pleading for the ball. She was wide open. And Shayla Golden forces the tough shot. The ball hit the ring. Oh, I'm pretty sure the ball actually hit the ring there. And so it'll stay a shot clock violation. So a chance here for the Suns to extend their lead. Knight now to Bravington. To Zwirling. Offensive foul on the play. I didn't see that the ball was on the other side of the court.
Yeah, Karaji's Power just adjusted that screen on the weak side, trying to free the shooter up.
As we have a delay of game warning going to the Suns. So action starting to heat up in this one. We've seen a couple of very big plays. Obviously, plenty of feeling in this one as there'll be a foul on the play. It'll be on Tennille Knight this time.
That would be like this action they're running here with that Iverson cut coming over the top. This is something I'd be looking at a lot right now because I don't think Sherbrooke's really defended it overly well yet. So I want to see what their adjustment is to see if they can stop it.
Golden was open for off the inbound. Varley pulls the trigger, and just like that, Georgia Varley could be finding her rhythm. We mentioned earlier, all it takes is 1-3 and she's in her groove, and the Storm retake the lead. Zwirling now, trapped in the corner. Pass was picked by Straight. The Storm running in numbers, 3-on-2 on the break. Nice pass there from Straight to Golden, and they get the basket to go, and just like that, the game again flipped the other way, and the Storm with potentially a 2-possession lead.
It's going to come down to little plays like that, I think. But for either team, like you get a turnover and transition like that, they're both dangerous on those breaks. So valuing the ball is also going to be a really important part on the back end here. Like throughout the game, you might have got away with a couple, but 1 or 2 mistakes at the wrong time now could really hurt.
Zwirling tonight. 4 points the margin, minute and a half gone in this fourth quarter. Kick back up to Squires, to Bravington.
Might have got away with travel there. Not the second time.
Tim Sanderson spoke about it perfectly. Bit of travel on Bravington. So another chance here for the Storm to just create some separation.
What's really interesting again with defensive tactics for Bellarine is that they're still going aggressive on the on ball, even when it's not coming from, well, it's not Zwirling or Squires using it. That'd be something I'd be considering right now, going, well, those two are obviously playmaking. You might want to take them out of stuff. But if they're on the other side of the floor not using the ball, do you need to be that aggressive?
I think another thing to point out, Tim, we're 2 minutes through, not even just about to go 2 minutes. Sherbrooke have 4 team fouls.
Yes.
So Bellarine now head to the free throw line for every foul for the next 8 minutes.
And probably 2 of those a little bit undisciplined too, like holding on a card or hands in on a ball carrier that didn't really need to occur. They'll be hoping that one doesn't come back to bite them. And Bellarine will definitely be looking to try and use that.
So now the Suns' chance to cut it back to a 1-possession game. Knight, nice little floater over the top of her defender, cuts it back to a 2-point game.
Yeah, tough shot, but well made.
Another thing to point out, Bellarine Storm shoots 71% from the free throw line. 4th best in the league so far this season. So potentially a huge changing point in this game as Pierce did a good job to deflect the pass. It's all the way back out to Varley. Creates some separation, and her pass with not enough push, couldn't get it through, and Zwirling now.
Sherbrooke's doing a good job to blow up some of Varley's actions here, which is disrupting the team offense. Yeah, nice look.
Pierce inside, ties it back up. As it's got everything we need for a top 4 matchup. Do not go anywhere. This one's going to go down to the wire. Hall, hand off to Varley. Steps back, well short from Georgia Varley.
Man, not a great shot.
Knight comes up from the rebound. Pierce now, one-on-one. She'll attack the rim. Golden did a good job to stand her ground, and Pierce offensive rebound. Osborne blocked it from behind.
Lucky there for Bellarine.
And so, Straight, moving around the defender. Almost jump shot, mid-range floater from Courtney Straight. Gets that one to drop, takes her up to 25.
And this is get the ball in Straight's hands as much as you can going down the stretch here. Whether she's going to end up being the final shooter or not, she's creating things.
Squires hasn't scored yet this quarter, and her pass will be thrown away. Zwirling will pick it up, and it'll be a cross-court violation. And mass substitutions for both teams. We'll see Brianna McKenzie check in, and Zoe Zwirling check out for the Suns. Well, for the Storm, it'll be Georgia Varley and Shayla Golden checking out, and Court Hollywood and Charlotte Armstrong checking in for the Storm.
So it'll be interesting to see here whether Sherbrooke goes back to the full court pressure with Courtney Hollywood handling the ball. When she's been in the game previously, they've stretched up a lot further.
Osborne for three.
Great shot.
Huge three from Olivia Osborne as she continues to come up with huge shots in huge moments. She's up to 11.7 rebounds and 3 assists. All-round performance as she comes up.
Job.
As Tim mentioned, a huge defensive effort. Straight, what can she produce for us? Attacks the ring, creates a separation. Courtney Straight is on one tonight as two players collide. Looks to be in...
Just ran into each other, didn't see each other.
Looks to be in good spirits as we'll have a timeout. And the Bellarine Storm with a 7-point lead in what felt like 5 seconds. And right now the scoreboard doesn't mean anything. The Bellarine Storm have been out by 7 points 3 or 4 times this match. And the Suns have come out of a timeout and just brought the game back into their terms. So
absolutely.
Certainly no margin is too big for the Suns, it feels right now.
So the opportunity here now from the Bellarine bench is you have 7-point lead. The last few times we've got up by these margins on timeouts, there has been an answer. The challenge here is, can you get the next 2 buckets to get this out into double figures and then make Sherbrooke have to change how they're playing a little bit? Can you speed them up into things they may not want to do quite as quickly, considering time and score? And for Sherbrooke, you're asking for the exact same things you've had every time you've called a timeout. Run 2 good actions, get 2 good buckets, back it up with a couple of stops, bring the game back square again and make it a 2 to 3 minute game.
And there's still 5.5 minutes is still heaps of time. And like you said, all it takes is 2 plays and you're back within a possession of this game. And we've seen that from Coach Shanahan and his athletes in this one multiple times this afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach David Smith and the Storm come out with. Just a quick around the grounds. Down the coast in the Bull, it'll be the Warrandyte Venom up by 21 points over Warrnambool halfway through the 4th. While in the other matchup, McKinnon continue to dominate their game, 85-33 at the start of the 4th. The Squires shot won't go.
Well, these next 5 or 6 possessions could well dictate what happens in the last couple of minutes. Like, if Bellarine gets this out to 10 or 11 points, the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game becomes a bit more chaotic for Sherbrooke. If Sherbrooke scores the next 2 baskets, we're talking about a down-to-the-wire finish.
That's a matchup we wanted to see all night, as Squires did a good job to force a tough shot from Straight.
Absolutely. Here's Sherbrooke trying to get their transition back.
Pearce now directing traffic. Wants to get it to Squires. She slips over. Pryor, mid-range jump shot won't go. I can tell you right now the courts are cleaned because I cleaned them before the game this afternoon, as Courtney Straight was manhandled by multiple players under the ring. And
Sherbrooke's urgency's come up here, like a bit more push in transition, numbers on the offensive boards. So they realise how critical these next few possessions are too.
Hollywood to Straight now. Guarded by Squires, was nearly pushed out of court with the ball. Straight now. Nice little dish off to Hall, won't go. Armstrong offensive rebound. I would hate to know how many offensive rebounds and second chance points Charlotte Armstrong has in this one, as Knight, her shot won't go. Blocked by Straight.
These offensive rebounds are threatening to become coach killers now, because you've just had a great defensive possession for Sherbrooke with a cheap offensive rebound score. Then you've come down the other end quickly, had the same thing happen on the other end. Like, for both coaches, they'll be very frustrated with those possessions, because they would have thought they've done a few things right, and now they're giving the other team points.
Well, right now, Bellarine Storm have more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds.
Yep. So
the rebound counts is actually blown out in favour of the Suns. The Suns lead by 10.
Offset by the turnovers, though. 7-14, Bellarine a lot lower on the turnovers. So that's just a number of possessions situation.
As Pryor makes her first, back to a 6-point game.
But what you're not happy with, if you're looking at this from a Bellarine perspective, it's 18-34 rebounds on your defensive end that Sherbrooke have got back. That's a problem. Sherbrooke would be still disappointed with 17 out of 42 at their own defensive end. So these extra possessions are going to be massive as the game goes down the wire as well, particularly if it's on the back end of a really good defensive stop. Didn't need that shot.
There's a tough shot there forced by Taylor Chant, who just checked in for Court Hollywood. Squires still yet to have a basket in this fourth quarter. Been quiet in the fourth quarter. She's had a huge game. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
They've got to find a way of getting this in Courtney Straight's hands somewhere.
Chantal Hall with a rare 3. Won't go. Nearly
Great
did.
job, Armstrong.
And again, it is Charlotte Armstrong inside the key.
Offensive rebound again.
Do you know, Charlotte Armstrong, 5 rebounds for tonight. How many of them do you reckon are offensive rebounds?
I would say nearly all of them.
All 5 rebounds of Charlotte Armstrong's tonight are offensive rebounds. So just an absolute beast inside, down the other end. And I think all of her 10 points are second chance points, potentially.
She will joke with you right now, too, that currently she has more rebounds in her career than points playing for Bellarine. So tonight, that's actually flipped the other way a little bit. It's a little bit unusual for Charlotte.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Charlotte Armstrong's inside presence has stemmed from the back end of last year when Bridget Rettstadt went down with a lower leg injury. And almost Charlotte Armstrong had to step up and play what Bridget Rettstadt was, which was a big inside that could play outside. And she is absolutely dominated in that role ever since that game where you made that change.
Yeah, we did get forced into it with an injury. Like, we had her in a role that was similar to that anyway, but it probably wasn't as pronounced. But obviously, once Bridget, our import, last year went down, then, we had to make that change. And, like, to Charlotte's credit, great pass. To Charlotte's credit, she did a sensational job of stepping up in that all year. But she's an outstanding competitor, and getting her in contests around the basket like that is the area she likes to live. So that's her game.
So it's the Bellarine Storm out to their biggest lead of this one, 9 points. And Coach Shanahan wants to talk things over with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in this one. And you just feel that the Suns have to go now. And as Tim Sanderson has just pointed out, Matt Shanahan, no more timeouts in this one. So that's potentially a huge moment for the context of a late game situation if the game decides to become close.
Well, the game's on the next 2 possessions for Sherbrooke now. Like, they really have to get a score out of their next play here, and then they need 2 quick stops. And if they don't get that, it's going to be difficult. So Coach Shanahan's probably realised that if he lets this go too late and holds a timeout towards the back end, there's a chance it won't matter. So he's thrown it out there, backing his girls in to get a score now and get some pressure up. And then probably hoping he gets a little help too from Coach Smith calling some timeouts for him at times that work for Sherbrooke as well.
Well, a huge 2 minutes coming up. Obviously huge ramifications for ladder positions in this one. McKinnon look like they're going to cruise to a win against the Sunbury Jets, while the winner of this one will go equal first with McKinnon and sit a game clear of the Sherbrooke Suns as we get back underway. Alina Squires met by 2 defenders under the ring. Varley did a good job to set herself.
Interesting no call there, wasn't it?
As Squires comes up a little bit sore.
Would have been hard to pick one on either of them, though, wouldn't it?
Correct.
To be fair.
As Hall did a good job off the assist from Varley. Won't get credited with one, but Hall will head to the line for 2.
So Georgia's last 2 offensive possessions down here have been much more aggressive. Done a very good job kind of getting around that primary defender and then finding that pick and roll action with Chantal Hall going to the basket. So good adjustment from her when she's come back in as well, being a little more aggressive off that ball screen and making things happen faster.
And Alina Squires just picked up her 4th foul. So potentially whoever's got the matchup on Squires could use that to her advantage and potentially put this game to bed.
You could, but I wouldn't overemphasise it just purely on where the game situation is and the amount of time left. I think you don't want to waste a possession or 2 trying to focus on one thing as opposed to getting the ball back into your best scoring chances at this point of the game.
They make it all the way around to Pierce for 3. Won't go. Varley, huge rebound by her. Quiet night in the scoring department for Varley. But
7 assists, though. Yep.
7 assists. So
a lot of those recently.
Certainly making huge impacts as well as being a floor general. And she'll get
2 shots.
To head to the line for 2 shots to add to her total. She definitely, hopefully we weren't speaking too loud. She heard us as she was coming down the floor. As we'll see Osborne check out and Golden check back in.
She's done a good job drawing the foul now, so now Ballarine's really in control of this. All they're trying to do is just take as much time as you can on Sherbrooke's possessions, and then Sherbrooke are likely going to foul you here. So you just basically possessing the ball until you get on the free throw line, and then milk the game out on your defensive end as much as you can.
And I reckon by the looks of the last substitution that was just made by Coach Shanahan, I reckon the cue's
He might
in the
have
rack.
called it. Yep.
We see Sibel Balagiolu check in for her first minutes, as well as Olivia Wind, who's had minimal minutes in tonight's contest.
Yep.
And Zoe Zwirling and Alina Squires have checked out. So, and I reckon Dave Smith's going to do the same thing. Maisie Corcoran will check in, and we'll see Charlotte Armstrong check out.
Yeah. Now, while Coach Shanahan has made those couple of subs there, taking two of his better players out, you still don't want to take this lightly here, because if you turn the ball over 1 or 2 times right under your own basket, that can be an issue. So, again, this is now long clock for Bellarine. If Sherbrooke's not fouling, you're just trying to run the clock down as far as you can. Oh, Chantal Hall's going to do the exact opposite and go and score.
Veteran play.
Yep. If you get a layup, you take a layup.
By Chantal Hall, takes her up to 13 points, 5 rebounds in this one, and Tennille Knight can answer back with a 3, and it'll miss everything. So what was a close game has now extended out to a 12-point lead, as we'll see Chantal Hall check out and Carly Bruce check in for her first minutes of this one.
So this is both coaches, one managing a couple of players, but 2 also getting qualifying games into their bench a little bit as well. So I guess when you get games where both think the result's now there, good opportunity to do it. Give some opportunity out. Make sure you got people qualified for finals too. And from Sherbrooke's perspective, definitely manage Squires and Swirling and make sure nothing silly happens going
into Courtney straight game. 3 more points for 30. Couldn't get it to go. And Bruce with a Hugh couldn't get the rebound. So Bargialou now inside to Pearce. Corcoran did a good job on D to force a tough shot.
Yeah, foul.
And we'll pick up the foul.
Yeah, foul on Bruce.
Foul will be on Bruce, so he'll stay with the Suns. Coming up after this match at 7:30, will be state championship men taking on Gippsland United. Another very big matchup for both those teams, so make sure you stick around. Geelong aren't playing tonight, so that doesn't matter, and the Hawks have just been absolutely annihilated by Melbourne. I don't even want to look at the score. I'm kind of, oh my.
Interesting side note here when we look at what's actually determined this result in the 4th quarter. So it was at Sherbrooke up by a point or 2, I think, 3/4 time, wasn't it?
Sherbrooke were up by 3.
Yep. So in the last quarter, Squires has not scored. So there's your point in the game. So she was doing a lot of the heavy lifting through that 3rd quarter when they made a run. And then in the 4th quarter, Ballarine's been able to just shut her right out of it. And that's had a big impact, I think, on how this game's opened up.
I think another thing to point out, the Bellarine Storm currently leading this quarter 24-10.
Yep. And a lot of that will be because the ball hasn't been able to get Squires good looks.
But you just feel Squires picked up her 3rd foul sort of late to mid of that 3rd quarter. Would that have potentially played on her mind a little bit, that maybe she couldn't be as aggressive anymore? And maybe, I know it's very hard to pick up an offensive foul, but do you reckon it's just playing a little bit in her mind and it's put her off her game a little bit?
I mean, every player's different, like potentially. Some players worry about that, others don't. But I think the difference for Sherbrooke too was they had some off-ball actions they were running a little bit through that 2nd and 3rd quarter too that were getting her open. We probably could have still gone back to some of those potentially and got her some looks that way. But to Ballarine's credit, they did defend her very well in the 4th quarter too and took a lot of the easy options off her. And that's had a big impact in how that result started to open up.
Wow, as the final siren goes here at the Bellarine Secondary College, the Bellarine Storm will sit 1 game clear on top with the McKinnon Cougars after coming away victors over the Sherbrooke Suns, 85-73. It was a Courtney Straight masterclass, 27 points, pardon me, at 50% from the field, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. She was everywhere in the stat sheet tonight. And then Chantal Hall with 13 points, 5 rebounds. And finally, Olivia Osborne was everywhere tonight, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. While for the Suns, Alina Squires, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Melissa Pryor, their next best scorer, 14 points, 3 rebounds. And Emma Pearce was instrumental on both ends, 10 points, 12 rebounds for her in that one. as we wrap it up here at the Bellarine Secondary College. Reminder, State Championship men's up next in roughly half an hour. Bellarine Storm taking on Gippsland United. Thank you for joining me tonight, Tim.
Not a problem, Hugh.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope to hear from you later on in the season. Just a reminder, the Bellarine Storm will go one game clear on top with McKinnon Cougars after defeating the Sherbrooke Suns in a top-of-the-table clash. It's been Hugh Moore and Tim Sanderson. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you next time.
Switched it off late in the third.
Don't want to watch it.
Courtney doing the next one for you?
Yeah.
Nice. Mark, go this towards Doreen. There you go. Keep it back this one. You can sit next to me. Move my backpack out of the way for you. Sit there, this is Doreen. Did you notice on the TV graphic the scoring leaders was never accurate?
No, because I believe it was
fine down here, but when it was in this point, it kept like.
I can't remember if it's because it goes off whoever's on the court.
Yeah, but Bellarine one hasn't been in order all night.
Yeah, but yours is different to mine.
Oh, really?
So mine, I've got Golden, Hall, and Chant, which.
Yeah, see, so I was getting one of the players up there, but it wasn't always the best scorer.
Yeah, mine's weird.
It was fine down here with the ones on the floor.
Yeah.
And obviously the team stuff was no worries.
And then live stats was a bit slow too.
Yeah. What? You can draw with it. You finished? What did you think? Good game? You girls do good? Yep, you can look after those. Daddy can close this down because Courtney's going to come and take this one over. And they kept Squires scoreless in the fourth. Sorry? Squires didn't score in the fourth. Yeah. That was the key, shutting her out of it. But it was like, up until that point, it was kind of swinging a bit both ways. Good battle. Yeah. Like basically every time someone called a timeout and changed something, it changed the game swung. Yeah. So
McKinnon just beat Sunbury by 60.
Oh, mate, McKinnon, yeah, maybe you see McKinnon's new import. She played her first game. She averaged 19 and 14 playing Euro Cup. So she's probably getting paid 120 grand a year to play in that comp. But mate, she was a 16 and 15 playing for Georgia in the SEC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Another good game by Aussie.
Like playing 35 minutes a game as a starting gig. She's a gun. Absolutely stupid playing in this league.